Hey everyone, Justin Lee Harold here with another episode of Those Are the Days Extended. Today I am taking you back to January 22nd, 2014, where we had the very talented and charismatic Mr. Daniel Cosgrove join Days as Aiden Jennings. He joined as this fellow parent of a classmate of Sierra's at Catholic school. And from the first few scenes, it seems like they were setting up a new sort of pairing for our leading lady, Miss Kristian Alfonso, as Hope here. Um, this did not go as planned. I think Aiden Jennings will probably go down as a very, very tragic character. I'm going to go through his tenure on the show, just hitting a few of his high points. And then at the end, I'm going to give you some behind the scenes as to what may have happened with this character and why it went off the rails and why I think it left fans very angry about this. Very, very big fan of Daniel Cosgrove and Aiden Jennings, and just seemed to be a really nice fan favorite starting off, but it quickly just dissolved into something completely different. But yeah, so let's get started. First off, again, he burst on the scene again, January 22nd, 2014. And Aiden and Hope were kind of like adversaries, basically, kind of like their bratty children. Sierra and Chase were always getting into it, and so they were, of course, sticking up for each of their children. Were also sort of pitted against each other, but they started. They kind of decided to be the bigger person, or kind of resolve this sort of feud that they had sort of going here, especially with the kids, and to set a better example. So they started like chaperoning and doing co-chairing like the big sales and all those sorts of things at the kids' school to sort of show a united front so the kids could get along. And it seemed like the powers that be were kind of chem testing them for a while. It took a while for them to like get going and really like get off the ground and like date each other. Usually like someone will come in, and even if there's a push and pull or an opposite attract sort of quality there, they sort of get over it very quickly and kind of move on to like liking each other. But with this pairing, it felt like they were taking their time. They were taking their sweet time, and I think it's because at this time, of course, Bo is out of the picture and Hope is still married. I feel like they were kind of like testing the waters a bit, sort of dipping their toe in this idea of what if we pair someone else up with Hope? How will the audience react? And they were being, in my opinion, a little bit too cautious. Excuse me, a little bit too cautious here. But again, they were they were putting them together, but not putting them together. And funny enough, if you guys remember this, Aiden's actual first scene was not with Hope. It was actually with Kayla, who I think, if I remember correctly, he ran into her at the park. And him and Mary Beth Evans had like actually this like really interesting spark. And the funny thing is, I think when we saw them together in that scene, we thought, oh, we're Kayla's getting a new love interest, because at the time Steve had actually been off campus and she wasn't with Steve at the time. And so I think when they put Daniel and Mary Beth Evans together, I think there was this idea of, oh, we're Kayla's getting a new guy, like, oh, this is, he's different from Steve, and we'll see how this goes. And then it completely went in a completely different direction, and they put him with Hope. So I'm always curious of that. I think we never got an answer what that was. I don't know if it was just to set up this idea that he's this great guy before they showed him with Hope, or if they were trying to test the waters a little bit to see who he fit better with, whether it was Mary Beth's Kayla or Kristian Alfonso's Hope. But anyway, they moved on. They decided they wanted to put him with Hope. Again, it was a really slow burn, but eventually Aiden and Hope got together, and then Hope basically made this hard decision that she was going to divorce Bo and sort of move on things with Aiden, and she actually did by accepting his engagement. Now, this next set of plot lines is where basically they kind of ruined his character, honestly. This is where Aiden sort of goes off the rails, and I refer to it as evil Aiden at this point. So basically there was this weird subplot where Hope suspected him of killing his wife. He didn't, of course. Basically his son Chase accidentally did. Aiden covered up for it, and Hope agreed to keep it quiet. So they got sort of over that hurdle, which really wasn't that menacing. And then they were basically revealed that Aiden was working for the Demiras, who he had owed a huge debt to. And the only way to get himself out of debt was for him to basically kill Hope and take the insurance money. So there was this weird plot where he adds himself to her insurance policy. And again, we know Hope is a very wealthy woman. She doesn't really play it up, but she has a sizable multi-million dollar inheritance that she sort of keeps in the back pocket, sort of in case she needs it. But they were really sort of playing up the fact that Hope is a rich woman here, of course, and that Aiden could benefit from that money and get the Demiras basically off his back, and also profit from his relationship with Hope, and basically by killing her. So he hatched this plan. He was sort of against it at first, but he feared what the Demiras would do to him. So again, he hatched his plan to kill Hope on their wedding night of all nights, and make it look like the necktie killer, which is also the parallel storyline that was going on here. And at the time, Chad was, this is when Chad was accused of being the necktie killer. So it was sort of like, I'll kill two birds with one stone as far as Aiden was concerned. He'll kill Hope, get the insurance money, pay off the Demiras, and live the rest of his days a very rich man, and also get Chad off the hook from being the necktie killer who everyone suspected he was at that point, and sort of appease Andre and Stefano at the same time by doing it. So again, it's a really convoluted plot to like completely destroy this character who we like really came to love and really love with Hope and with Kristian Alfonso, and they had just great chemistry. And again, we all know how that worked out. Aiden successfully attacked Hope on their wedding night, basically tried to strangle her to death, and then Bo shows up to save the day and kill Aiden. Now, at this point, again, we think we're saying goodbye to Aiden. Bo has basically killed him. We got the return of Peter Reckle here. We can't not pass up the opportunity to reunite Bo and Hope together. So that's what the powers that be did, even if they did it at Aiden's expense. So again, we know Bo dies here, but before he does, he asks Rafe to take care of Hope. And then what do you know happens? Surprise, surprise, Aiden is back. And basically, the Aiden that Bo killed was a lookalike that the Demiras set up because they feared that Aiden would not be able to go through with actually both marrying and subsequently killing Hope. So they switched him out. Now, a lot of us thought like, okay, this is the show doing a little bit of course correction, and they're trying to like basically make up for kind of dismantling Aiden's character. He was the good guy we loved. We loved him with Kristian's Hope. So it's like, okay, this is their way of doing a do-over, and they're gonna sort of bring back Hope and Aiden, and we got a second chance with this couple. No, not really. They basically had Aiden lean into his dark side, and at this time they were setting up, of course, Rafe and Hope to be the dominant couple, and I think they were toying with Aiden, but not really sort of delving deep there. So yeah, Hope finds out basically that Aiden originally did plan to kill her on that night, even if he was switched out with someone else. She basically fears she can never trust him again, and then basically sends him packing. Aiden, of course, leaves town unceremoniously to be closer to Chase, who is in prison, I believe in Seattle at this point. So yeah, they completely destroyed this character. Aiden was such a fan favorite, and I want to I'll give you guys a little behind the scenes of what was going on at the time. But I just want to show you a picture of them. And now this is what we could have had with Aiden and Hope here, a actual happy couple. But the writers could not commit to like giving her someone a love interest other than Hope. And again, we talked about this before. I've talked about before. I've loved Patrick Lockhart for her. We loved Aiden for her, but the powers that be just didn't. They had this weird thing, and there's like some weird like sexism, misogyny thing going on here, where Bo, on the other hand, when Hope was gone, could have these amazing love interests in these great relationships and even having a child. But Hope was sort of not afforded those same things. And even when we do try and give her someone else other than Bo, they're so fearful that the audience is going to retaliate that they basically self-sabotage themselves. And basically we found out that the reason why we had so many different iterations of Aiden at the point was because there were actually 3 different writing regimes that were going on. And basically every time a new one came in, they were trying to course correct what the other one had done. So I think Sherry Anderson created Aiden Jennings. She brought him in for Hope. She was doing the slow burn with him. She's out. Another writing team comes in. They decide to make Aiden dark, and that was when we got the evil Aiden sort of plot lines and stuff with Stefano and Andre. The stuff with is he, did he kill his wife? all that was a different writing regime, and then a new writing regime comes in, and that is sort of when we got the do-over of bringing Aiden back and trying to redeem him. But at that point, they were already focused on Rafe and Hope being a couple, so they sort of again pushed Aiden to the side and sort of let him die on the vine, so to speak. So yeah, that I mean, I think Aiden will probably go down as one of Days' most tragic characters. I still think Daniel Cosgrove is such a charismatic, just talented guy. Although I know many of us know him from other soaps, and of course 90210, of course. And I think he deserved better. I think there's been this sort of battle cry for justice for Aiden throughout the years, and we think he probably was Hope's best pairing outside of Bo. For me, I would put him above Bo, but that's just me. I like Bo and Hope actually with other people, and Aiden is one of those people who I definitely enjoyed Hope with, and think that if they just could have got it right from the start, they could have made a compelling couple. And again, who knows? Maybe they would have rode off into the sunset and become a better couple than Bo and Hope. I don't know. I feel like we never know unless you try, and when there's trepidation about bringing new people in, and you sort of doom them from the start. Unfortunately, I think that's what happened with Aiden Jennings. So yeah, that's I think we'll continue to, whenever he comes up, there's always sort of some melancholy associated with his character about the what if they had done his character right. But such is life. I don't know. Daniel Cosgrove and Aiden Jennings are still out there, so maybe we'll see him in the future in the Days plot line. But yeah, that was this week's Those Were Days Extended, and see you next time. Thanks, everyone.